All right, so let's talk about the UK. In a world that's, well, pretty uncertain and with an economy that's been kind of stuck in the mud, the UK is making a huge 10-year bet. It's called the Modern Industrial Strategy, and really it's a plan to completely rewire the country's economic engine. So the big questions are, what's the problem they're trying to fix, and where are they putting their money?
But, before we can really get into the solution, we've got to understand the problem, right? So let's take a look at the diagnosis of the UK economy that this whole strategy is meant to cure.
And wow, the policy paper itself, it does not pull any punches. It actually describes the state in recent decades as, and I'm quoting here, both overbearing and feeble. I mean, think about that. They're saying it was interfering too much in some places, but then totally absent when industries really needed a partner. That really sets the stage for just how big this challenge is.
So that overbearing and feeble state, well, here's what it led to. An economy that's way too exposed to global shocks, it's too sluggish to jump on big transitions like clean energy, and get this, it has the lowest business investment of all advanced economies. You've got a lack of dynamism, and maybe most importantly, the big city regions just aren't firing on all cylinders.
And that underperformance in the cities? Yeah, that's not a small issue. We're talking about a 90 billion pound hole in the economy every single year. I mean, just let that sink in. That is a massive prize just sitting there waiting to be unlocked if the UK can just get its regional economies humming again. Okay, so you've got this pretty stark diagnosis. So what's the prescription? Well, it's this 10-year plan we've been talking about, the Modern Industrial Strategy, and it's really designed to be a long-term fix for these really deep-seated problems. The whole idea here is to get away from short-term thinking. This is all about a decade-long partnership between the government and businesses. The big goal is to provide what they call strategic certainty. And what does that mean? Well, basically, it's about creating a stable, predictable environment so businesses feel confident enough to make those huge long-term investments. Right, a 10-year plan sounds great, but let's be real, you can't focus on everything at once. So the big question is, where exactly is all this effort, all this money, actually going to go?
And the answer has a name. It's called the I8IS. Kind of sounds like a secret agent code name, right? It stands for the 8 high-growth sectors that the government has basically picked as the UK's best bet for creating wealth, creating jobs, and, this is key, creating higher wages all across the country. And here they are. You've got advanced manufacturing, creative industries, life sciences, a real mix. You can see it's a combination of the UK's traditional strengths, like financial services, but also a big push into future-focused industries like clean energy and digital tech. So really, the government is doubling down on what the UK is already good at, while at the same time trying to grab a leading spot in the industries of the future. Okay, so you've picked your 8 sectors. Great. But how do you actually support them? Well, the strategy kind of breaks it down into 2 big chunks. Let's look at the first one, making it way, way easier and faster for businesses to invest and grow. And this chart, this really shows the big shift in thinking. The whole goal is to get the government out of the way when it's just being a pain, with super complex planning or endless red tape. But at the same time, it's about having the government step in as a partner where it can actually help, like by bringing down energy costs or using public money to kickstart private investment. And they are putting some serious money behind this. We're talking about an 86 billion pound commitment to R&D, a national wealth fund of almost 28 billion pounds to pull in private investment, plus billions more for the British Business Bank. So yeah, this isn't just talk. It's a huge injection of cash aimed right at supercharging those 8 key industries. But it's not all about the businesses, right? That's only half the story. The second big pillar of this strategy is all about investing in the people and the places that are going to power all this growth. And this gets back to that 90 billion pound regional gap we were talking about. This is how they plan to tackle it. You've got specific pots of money here, like a 600 million pound strategic sites accelerator and 500 million for local innovation partnerships. All of this is designed to get growth started in clusters outside of the usual London and Southeast bubble. Now, a really, really huge piece of this whole puzzle is skills. I mean, you can have the investment, but you need the people. The goal is to create a direct talent pipeline. Basically, they want to reform the education system so that it's just funneling trained workers straight into those 8 priority sectors. It's all about making sure the workforce has the exact skills that these high-tech, future-focused industries are looking for. So you might be thinking, why should I care about this focus on specific sectors?
What's in it for the average person? Well, here it is. This is the prize. Workers in these 8 industries earn, on average, almost £8,000 more per year. So this isn't just some abstract economic growth number. It's about creating better jobs that actually pay more. Okay, so that's the plan. That's the how. But what does success actually look like? What's the finish line? What's the big goal in 10 years' time? Well, the headline number is all about jobs. The strategy is aiming to ramp up growth in these sectors so much that it creates a projected 1.1 million new jobs by 2035. That's a huge number. And these aren't just vague hopes either. The ambitions are really concrete. As you can see from this table, the plan sets specific multi-billion-pound investment targets for these key industries. I mean, the goal, pretty much across the board, is to double, or in some cases nearly double, the amount of money businesses are investing each year. It's all about locking in that growth for the long haul. So there you have it. You've got the diagnosis, an overbearing and feeble state. And you've got the prescription, a 10-year plan focused on 8 key sectors. It's a strategy built on providing certainty, backed by massive public investment, and fueled by a targeted skills pipeline. But of course, the big question is, in a world that changes so fast, is this really the strategy that will finally get Britain's future back on track?